Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back. Today's Daf Yomi is Kesubos Kuf Hey. We begin the brand new Perek Shnei Dayoni. So let's start 2 lines from the bottom on Kuf Daled Amud Beis. It says the Mishnah, Shnei Dayoni Gzeros. The Gemara will explain this term, Dayoni Gzeros. They enacted Gzeros. In any case, there were 2 of them in Yerushalayim. Shnei Dayoni Gzeros, Hayu Yerushalayim. One was named Admoin. The Gemara will call him Admoin ben Gadoi, actually. And the other one was V'chanan ben Avishalom. Taisus points out it's Avishalom with a Yud, Avishalom instead of Avishalom, because Avishalom, as we know, was a Russian. We don't call a child with the name of a Russia. So it was Chanan ben Avishalom. Okay, so what did they have to say? Chanan Eimer Shnei Dvarim. Chanan presented 2 halachos with which the Chachamim disagreed. So it was his chidushim, and Admoin Eimer Shiva, he presented 7 halachos which were disputed by the Chachamim as well. Here goes. This fellow skipped town, a husband. His wife is in need of being fed, of mezonos. She's entitled to access his assets, but is a shvua required for her to verify her claim, to certify that she had not yet received advance payment for mezonos. Chanan Eimer, no shvua necessary at this point. We don't trouble her to make a shvua. In fact, Tishava b'Seif. Eventually, at the end of the day, if he passes away, she'll get the Ksuba. At that point, we have sufficient time to be mashbiah her, to impose a shvua that in fact she conducted herself with integrity. As opposed to initially when she's expecting mezonos, leave her alone, she's entitled to mezonos, it's within her rights, you don't have to give her a hassle. That's Chanan's opinion, but it was disputed by the Kohanim Gedolim. Nechluku olav b'nei Kohanim Gedolim, the descendants of Kohanim Gedolim, these were the Chachamim, who disagreed with this leniency. She must swear now, initially when she's collecting mezonos, as well as later when she collects the ksuba. Amar Rabbi Yehuda ben Harkinos, Kedevrayim, he supported the Kohanim Gedolim. Amar Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. In fact, I agree with Chanan. Yafa Amar Chanan. Chanan's opinion is correct. Only at the end is a shvua applied. The Mishnah started with Shnei Dayoni Gzeros. There were 2 Dayanim called Dayoni Gzeros. We have a brisa that there were 3. Shloisha Dayoni Gzeros Hayu Yerushalayim. There were actually 3. One was Admoin, that's the one in the Mishnah. Admoin ben Gadoi. Number 2, V'chanan HaMitzri. That was not mentioned in the Mishnah. That's the 3rd one. And the 3rd is V'chanan ben Avishalom. We have a double kasha. Kasha Tlasa Trey. Number 1. In the Mishnah we had 2 Dayanim, here we have 3. So was it 3 or was it 2? A second kasha is kasha gzeiros. In the Mishnah we have the lashon gzeiros, they enacted decrees. Gzeiros in the brisa we have a lashon gzeiros, something to do with robbery. So we have 2 inconsistencies. Answers the Gemara. Bishlemet lasa train like kasha. We can understand why here it's 3, here it's 2. Well, the chashiv like tani. The loy chashiv like tani. Taisus learns, well, it's all a matter of who you're going to mention. The brisa mentioned 3, so it started with the number 3. The Mishnah only mentioned 2, so we mentioned the number 2 as well. So there is no stira there. Elo gzeros agzelos kasha. But why does the Mishnah use the lashon Dayoni Gzeros, and the brisa calls them Dayoni Gzelos? Amar Rav Nachman Yitzchak, it's all one and the same thing. Shahayu guys or in Gzeros, they would enact Gzeros al Gezelos for people who robbed, who harmed their friends. Sanya, as per the following brisa, will we find that the Dayanim enacted certain set fees, set fines for those who are negligent with each other's property. So Dayoni Gzeros all goes together. They made a Gzera, a set fee, a set fine applied for those who harm each other's property. Kitma. Netia. Suppose one's animal chopped off a young sapling, we have a set fine for that. These Dayanim Yerushalayim established as follows. They would say, well, it depends how old that sapling was. Natia bas shnasa. If it's within the first year, shtei kesef, you pay 2 kesef for harming his tree. Bas shtei shanim, a 2-year-old, arba kesef, it's double the amount, it's 4. Viramini, we're going to have a kasha on the Mishnah, on the Brisa as well. Shloisha dayanim gzeros ho'birushalayim. We have 3 dayanim. Okay, so far so good. The Mishnah only mentioned 2, but the Brisa actually mentioned a 3rd, and this Brisa as well makes reference to the number 3. But the problem is, there's an additional name, which gives us a total of 4 dayanim. Admoin, okay, that's accounted for. V'chanan, okay, that matches. V'nachum, a new name. So where was he mentioned? Omar Papa, that's a new Manda Omar, a new Shita. Man Tana Nachum, who's the one that mentioned Nachum's name? It's Rabbi Nosani, the Sani Rabbi Nosson Omer. We have a 4th name as well, Af Nachum Hamadai, mentioned the Gemara in Mishnah and Shabbos, remember, Likin. Here as well, who was on this list of Dayanim, but the Chachamim disagreed with adding him to the list. Asks the Gemara, so only 2 or 3 or 4, V'suleka, there were no more Dayanim in Yerushalayim, V'amar Pinchas, Amar Rabbi Oishya, Shalosh Meyos V'tishim V'arba, Batei Dinin, Hoy B'Yerushalayim, there were no less than 394 separate Batei Din in Yerushalayim filled with judges, Kenegdan Batei Knesiyos, an equal number of shuls, Ukenegdan Batei Midrash, Rashos, an equal number of places of learning, Ukenegdan Batei Seifrim, an equal number of children schools, Chadorim. So there were many more than 3 or 4 Dayanim. Answers the Gemara, you're right. Dayanim, Tuva Havu, there were many Dayanim in Yerushalayim. But when we provide this list of 3 or 4, Agoiz Rei Gzeros Kamrina was speaking about those Dayanim who were special. They specialized in applying Gzeros for Gzeros, as we mentioned. On the topic of the Dayanim of Yerushalayim, how were they meant to be supported? They were serving the tzibur, the community, full time. Amar Yehuda Amar Vasi. Goyzer Gzeros Yerushalayim. These aforementioned Goyzer Gzeros, they were publicly employed and provided by the community, just like today's, Kedel members. They provide this lofty service to the community, and they were supported by them as well. Every year they got 99 mana as per their salary, split into 3, so 33 apiece. From the leftovers of the Machtas HaShekel that was taken 3 times a year. So that was the Trumas Halishka, separated from the collection of Machtas HaShekels. So part of the Trumas Halishka was designated for the salaries of these great Chachamim who upheld law and order in Yerushalayim. Lo Yirotzu, if the Dayanim were not satisfied with this salary, Mosifon them would add to their salary. Lo Yirotzu, what do you mean? They're unsatisfied. Atu B'Rashi Askina was speaking about less than noble Dayanim who are insisting on a higher salary than deserved. Ella, rather we meant like this, just the opposite. Lo Yisafko, suppose the salary did not really suffice for their needs. Even if they're unwilling to take more, we force more upon them. We add to their salary as per their needs. Continues the Gemara with another example of a Dayan who took payment for his services. Karna, that was his name. Karna have a shakel istira. He would take a coin, mizakai, from the litigant who came out on top, who won the case. V'istira michayiv, and likewise he would send an invoice to the fellow who came out guilty. He would charge them both an equal amount, v'dan ludina, and provide them with judgment, meaning it wasn't a bribe, it wasn't a payoff. Rather, it was a standard fee for his services. Both Balidinin would pay the same amount. Asks the Gemara, a Dayan getting paid? That's inappropriate. How did Karna accept payment for his services? V'oksiv, the pasuk says, v'sheicha leisikach, a Dayan. Bribes, never. Oh, maybe that's only a concern when he doesn't get paid by both. rather only by one, that's a real concern. He perhaps will bend the judgment in his direction. Dilma Asi Letzliya Dina, he might arrange for the din to favor this fellow. But Karna, our Dayan Karna, there's no concern given the Shokal Mitavar, since he accepted payment from both, equal payment from both sides. He's not going to favor one over the other. He's totally objective and impartial. Perhaps that's the justification, but it's untrue. Even that, it is a problem. If there's no concern of tilting the din, mishari, since when is payment allowed? Don't get paid off. But what is the pasuk trying to tell us? If it's coming to tell you, to make sure not to overturn the din, to be mezaka, the one who's meant to be guilty, and to warn you against finding guilt in the fellow that's meant to win, to pervert judgment. Well, obviously you can't do that, irrespective of taking payment. You're meant to judge honestly. Of course you can't tilt and misjudge. So what's the point of telling you don't take bribes? The pasuk is telling you, even if ultimately the conclusion will be the way it's meant to be, the right one will be righted, the wrong one will be wronged. Torah is warning against taking any sort of judgment. Of course, perhaps you might, choose to strike a compromise in order to find favor in both their eyes, because they both pay you. Somehow it might manipulate your judgment, your good judgment. Says the Gemara, but that's only a concern as follows. That's only a concern if he is taking it as a bribe. Look, if you don't pay me, I'm going to find guilt in you, etc. So he's blackmailing them. They have to pay it up. Karna, as opposed to our Dayan Karna, it wasn't meant as a bribe. It wasn't forced upon them. B'teres agra havashakal, he was simply taking payment for his services, unrelated to the actual judgment. U'b'teres agra mishari, even payment for services, is that mutar? V'atanan, that's also inappropriate. Hanoitol schar loden, if a dayan accepts payment as service for his service, as payment for his service, din of betelan, his judgments are null and void. A dayan is meant to be above financial interests, strictly l'shem shemayim, a free service. So how did Karna allow them to pay him? Answers the Gemara, Hani mili agar dinam. That is only if he's getting paid for his services, for doing the din. A din and payment don't go hand in hand. But Karna, he took payment because he was losing out. He had work to do on the side, and he was taking off from work. That's mutter. You're compensating for his loss. Agar betela haveshakal, who's taking for his betela, for his loss. Va'agar betela mishari, would that be allowed? Va'tanya mechur hadayan shenoitel schar loden. A dayan who takes payment for his services is totally inappropriate and out of step. Ela shadino din, but you know what? It works. His din still stands, and it's inappropriate, but we don't nullify his judgment. Answers the Gemara, what do you mean? What type of case are we speaking about? I thought taking payment affects the ability to judge. It nullifies your judgment. Hey Chedami, what type of payment is he taking? Ilema agar dina, is he taking for the actual services? He's taking payment for his service. Dina din, how could you say b'di eved? The din stands. We just had a brisa that it's cancelled. Vatanya noitel schar loden dina betelan. Ella, rather what he's doing is he's taking agar betela. He's taking simply as compensation for income lost on the side, and still the brisa tells you it's inappropriate. How could Karna allow himself to take for that? V'katani mechur hadayan, this dayan is acting inappropriately. Answers the Gemara, it all depends on circumstance. It all depends how transparent the situation is. Hani mili, when is it a concern? Betela de lemuchacha, when he is alleging, he is proposing that he's losing money on the side, it's not something which is apparent, which is obvious. It's not like he's, blatantly giving up on clients. In that case, it doesn't look good, even if his intent is to take for compensation for loss. But Karna betela de muchachav shakel. But Karna, he had a full-time job. He was taking off. He was losing income, of course. In that case, you can pay him for loss of income. It's not considered paying for the actual din, which would be unacceptable. Davatoi b'amabra the chamra. Karna had a knack. He had a talent of being able to just give a sniff. Toi, just take a sniff. B'amabra the chamra. On this wine cellar, and he would detect. He would be able to discern where the wine is going, if it's close to spoilage, in which case go sell, or you still have time. So that was his expertise. V'yavi le'zuz, and they would give him a coin for that service. So in this case, that he's taking off from work, of course, he can accept payment for that. We have to find another example of taking schar betela. From Rav Huna. Kihad Rav Huna, as we find by the tzaddik Rav Huna. Kiava Osi Din L'Kamei, when he was presented with it in Torah, Amar Lu, he would tell him, look, I have lots of fields. I have to tend to my fields. I have to water my fields. If you have somebody that's going to take my place, gladly, I'll offer you my services and my time. Havali Gavra, provide for me a person, the Dalili, who will draw water and water my fields, Becharikai in my stead, Ve'edin L'Chodino, and I'll go gladly conduct your din Torah. Amar Rabbi Avo, Boyurei, come take a look. Kama Samyus, Einein, Shomakabli Shechad. Look how blinded, how silly, how mentally blinded are the Makabli Shechad, those judges who are willing to succumb to accepting bribes. Take a look how ironic it is. Adam Choshbein, if a person has an eye ailment, what does he do? Noisin Mamel Raifa, he approaches the local doctor and pays his full fee in order for the doctor to examine his eye and hopefully provide a remedy. But it's not certain that he will be remedied. He's willing to take a chance and pay regardless. Safek misrape, perhaps he will get healed. Safek any misrape, perhaps not. So they're willing to spend money hoping that it will correct their, or fix their problem. And what do these judges do? They're taking bribes, which will lead to the blindness, as the pasuk says, right? They're taking a coin, they're taking something of value from the baladinin. What is that doing? Causing blindness. So here you pay money to perhaps try to heal your eyes, and then you're going in with your own hands, bringing about blindness. Chas v'shalom shenemar ki hasheichad ya'ave pikchem. Blindness, bribes will cause blindness to otherwise wise judges. Isn't that silly? Tana Rabbanan ki hasheichad ya'ave ein chachamim. Sheichad has the ability to blind the good judgment, to pervert the chachma of chachamim. Kal v'chomer l'tipshin, of course, will have the same effect on people who are less than wise. V'yisalaf divrei tzadikim, it facilitates the perversion of the words of tzadikim. Kal v'chomer l'rishayim, of course, has similar effect to rishayim. Asks the Gemara, what do you mean by this? We're speaking about judges. Midi tipshim v'rishayim b'nei din aninu. A dayan, one who makes a din Torah, it must be a chacham, must be a tzaddik. What do you mean the tippish that Russia will accept bribes? What is he doing conducting a din Torah in the first place? Elochi Kamar, the Brisa means like this. A sheichad has the ability to blind even the eyes of a smart fellow. Afilu chacham gadol, but he takes sheichad, before he leaves the world, he's going to be affected. He will not leave below Samis Halef. His heart will be blocked. He'll lose his clarity of mind and clarity of heart. And bribery does the same to tzaddikim. Even if he was a righteous man, he succumbs to being paid off. He won't leave the world without muddling of the mind. Meaning that initially he's a big chacham, he's a big tzaddik, but once he succumbs to this temptation, he's going to go downhill from there. His mind will become clouded, his heart will be perverted, his judgment will be affected. He'll become more and more of a tippish, of a rasha, in terms of his misjudging his court cases And that's the ultimate, situation that'll find himself due to accepting bribery. There's a wonderful story. There was a Rav, a Dayan, who was part of the Egyptian community. He lived in Mitzrayim. A couple hundred years ago, he was a Rav in Mitzrayim, and he would sign his name, Reb Chaim Baal Hanes. Reb Chaim, who experienced a miracle. And the story behind it was like this. So towards older age, he was losing his eyesight. And he was concerned that, his blindness, lest it feed into the position of his detractors, lest it confirm the arguments of his opposers who would propose that he was taking bribes, he wasn't an honest judge. He had those opposers within the community. Sounds familiar? So he wanted to preempt that notion. Look, here he's getting blind, he's losing his eyesight, and was concerned that this would confirm their suspicions that he wasn't an upright judge. In fact, he was accepting bribes. Look, he's becoming blind. So he gets up one day in shul on Shabbos in the presence of the entire community. He declares as follows: in the name of Hashem, he says, look, Hashem Yisbarach, you are my witness. If throughout all my years conducting court cases, leading the Bezdin, I even one time accepted a payoff, a bribe, then my eyesight should just go. Gesundheit. But otherwise, if I was honest, I was truthful, I conducted my Din Torah, my Bezdin for all these years, with integrity, with honesty, then Hashem Yisbarach restored my eyesight. And suddenly, he could see. It was a tremendous Kiddush Hashem. From then on, he signed his name, Rabbi Chaim Baal Hanes. A story said over by Rabbi Zilberstein in Baruch Nafshi. Continues the Gemara on the second line from the top. Ki Aser Rav Dimi. When Rav Dimi arrives, Amar, he told us as follows: Dorash Rav Nachman Bar Koyin. Interesting name. Mai dechsiv melach b'mishpat yamid aretz v'ish truma yisei harsena. What does this mean? Im doime dayan lemelach. If a dayan is independent, is financially independent, she'en tzarich l'klum. He doesn't need anybody's help. He doesn't need payoffs. He doesn't need bribes. He's a wealthy man. He doesn't have to flatter the members of his community. In this case, he can uphold his judgment. He can assert his leadership. Yamid Uretz, in fact, he will. He will run his community and his bezdin with honesty and integrity. He's not going to be swayed by bribes, by flattery and payoffs. But v'im doim lekoyin, if the dayan is like a koyin who was always going around collecting shemachazel, a grunt is going around to the granaries to collect his truma, basically he's in need of constant financial assistance. That's trouble. Yaharsena. He's going to destroy. He's going to bring about destruction of the truth, because ultimately, he's driven by agenda. He's in a weakened state. He can't really, lead and provide with absoluteness. So it's dangerous to have such a dayan who is given to handouts and subject to the community support. Amar Rabba Bar Shila, hi Daina. Likewise, this dayan, the shokol shol shelt, a dayano who is always borrowing things, posel and meidandina, he's disqualified as a judge because, again, he is susceptible to bribery. V'lo that's only the case el de lesli l'shuli, if he doesn't have to lend, meaning he's just borrowing, he's not lending out. Aval isli l'shuli, but if he has his own stuff to lend out, so it's a two-way street. Less lambo, there's no concern. Any really? V'rava shol shelta, Rava had the practice of borrowing items. Midevei Bar Merian, from this family called Bar Merian, even though they didn't borrow from him, how could he, be a dayan in this situation? The truth is, he didn't need their services. He was just trying to give them prominence and prestige, make them feel good. He was not dependent upon them. Amar Rava, my time of the Sheikh, tell me, what is the reason? Why Would a person not take bribery? What's wrong? The answer is when you accept a bribe, your mind is sort of close to him. You get chummy, it's as though you and him are one person. And you know what happens? You have negius. A person finds it very difficult to be objective with his own personal business. So you'll find it hard to find that person guilty. My sheikhad. Where does the word sheikhad come from? What does it mean? Sheikhad is a joint word. Shehuchad. You're one with that person and you're on his side. Furthermore, a person should be careful to avoid getting involved in judging a person that you like. Likewise, somebody that you dislike. Why? What's wrong? Because it can tilt your judgment one way or the other. A person who you like, you have a hard time finding him guilty. A person who you dislike, well, you have a hard time judging in his favor. But you should know that a Talmud Chacham in a town, that the fellows in his town like him, you should know it doesn't disqualify the judge. It's not personal. Not because he's so good in their eyes, rather because apparently he is not fulfilling his communal obligations. He's not admonishing them in matters of man to his maker. He's not getting in the way. That's why they like him. It's nothing personal. There's no friendship here. Don't worry about judging them. Amar Rava, in fact, initially when I took on the position in Mechayza, all these people in Mechayza are my friends. Kulu Rachmi, they like me. It's something personal. But then he saw, Kivan the Havoy Dayana, once I was appointed the Dayan Amina, now I noticed a sudden change in relationship. Minayu Sonoli, the ones who I find guilty in the Dinei Torah, suddenly begin disliking me. As opposed to the other fellows who come out winning when I judge them, they start liking me. So I see it's something to do with the Din Torah, nothing personal, but the fact is they changed their perspective, because once they noticed that it's totally impartial, there's nothing personal about my finding them guilty or innocent. Even the Chazoi, once I noticed, the fellow who I found guilty today and disliked me, tomorrow, well, I judged in his favor, and suddenly he changed his notion, his liking of me. And now I realize that, and they realized, and we all realized, that if there's anything that they like about me, kulu rachmali, they all have the same perspective. They realize that it's not personal, and when I judge my court cases, it's all, objective and impartial. If they have something against me, they all dislike me because of what I did or didn't do. There's nothing personal. There's no issue of personal and sheikhad, and therefore I have no issue judging them. Tanarabon, v'sheikhad leisikach pasuk warns against taking a bribe. Einoi tzarech leima sheikhad mammon. Goes without saying, you shouldn't take a monetary payoff. Ela afilu sheikhad dvarim, even if it's not monetarily, something of words, something of honor. Nami also, it's also not allowed. Why? The pasuk doesn't use the word betza, which is typically describing money. Betza leisikach. Rather, it says sheikhad, some sort of thing that could influence your judgment. Give me an example of a non-monetary bribe. Shmuel, as per the story with Shmuel, he was crossing over this, river crossing. Also, this fellow comes along, and he offers him his hand to help him cross. Amar later, Shmuel asks this fellow, 1 second, what's going on? What are you doing here? My avedeticha, what's your business here? What are you doing here? Amar he says, look, Dina Isli, I'm actually looking to approach you for a din Torah. Amar later, Shmuel says, sorry, Charlie, I'm disqualified because you just did me a favor, and that would impart my judgment. Ameimar, Avash Yosef, Amir was sitting and doing his in Torah. Parach got for this flying creature is suddenly floating over his head. Areshe. Also, this fellow comes along, Shakli removed it. He asks him, oh, what's your business here? What are you doing? Amalei Dina Islam, I'm about to present you with a din Torah. Amalei, he says, I'm sorry. I'm disqualified because of the favor that you did for me. So we see that even non-financial favors can affect his judgment. Mar Ukva, another story with Mar Ukva. Vashadi Ruka Kameh, there was roik, some spit that was present before him. Asa Ugava, this fellow comes along, constantly covered it. Amalei Mavatich, what are you doing here? Amalei Dina Isli, I'm about to do a Dintera with you. Amalei Pesil Nachladina, I can't do it. Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yesi, have a Ragel Arise, he had an Aris, a sharecropper, who would bring him every week his weekly installment of fruit. Dava Maisile Kal Mali Shabbat, every Erev Shabbos he would deliver Kanto, a basket full of peri of fruit, to Rabbi Shmuel, the boss. Yom Achad, one week it so happens that he came a day early. Aisile Behi B'Shabbat, he brings him on Thursday. Amalei Maishna Idna, what happened this week that you came a day early? Amalei Dina Isli, I'm about to come to you with a Dintera of Amina. I figured, look, I'm already coming, may as well bring the fruit a day early. Agav Orchi, while I'm coming along, Aisile Lemar, let me bring your installment, even though it's a bit early. Loi Kabel Menei, Rabbi Shmuel refused to accept the early delivery. Amar Leis, he said, Pasilna Lachladina, you know what? I'm not going to get involved in the Torah. I'm already swayed in your direction because of the favor you did for me. You offered me the fruit a day early. I'm out of here. Oisiv Zuzah the Rabbanon, so instead, he appointed a peer of Chachamim, and they were involved in his Dintera instead of Rabbi Shmuel. So Bahadi, the cause of Asaz, Rabbi Shmuel was like sort of pacing back and forth and listening in. Omar, he started thinking to himself, well, Iboy, you should know if the Aris, my employee, if he really would know Itoin Hachi, he would present such a claim. Otherwise, Ton Hachi, he presents a different claim. Basically, he was siding for him in his heart. He was sort of rooting for him. He should only say this, he should only say that, and he'll win the case. And he said, he said to himself, look, Omar, Tefach Nafshem Shem Makabli Sheichad. The ones who accept bribery should be Tefach Nafshem, expire, meaning, look how profoundly affected a person who accepts a bribe is. I wasn't even affected. I didn't even actually accept a bribe. I was about to accept. I was offered a bribe, and look how I was already influenced. Uma ani, look at me. Shaloid notalti. I never really accepted that bribe. I was already swayed in his direction. Vim notalti, shaloi notalti. And even if I would have taken that basket, after all, it's mine. It's coming to me. Kach, look how profoundly affected they are. Certainly a fellow who actually succumbs and accepts a bribe, of course, his judgment is impaired and he is influenced and swayed in his direction. Look how careful a person must be. Rabbi Shmuel bar Elisha, I see Leah Gavra, this fellow comes to him with a Reishis Hagaz, the first shearing of the wool, which belongs to the Kohen. So he brought him Reishis Hagaz. Rabbi Shmuel asks him, I've never seen you before. Where do you come from? Where do you come from? Amalei Meduch Plan, from that city. Okay. I want to ask you something. From your town all the way to here, you couldn't find another coin to give him the matana. Why are you coming to me? Amalei says, look, there's a special reason. Dina Isli, I actually had a din Torah with you. Vamin, I figured, Agar V'choy. By the way, I see the Lamar, may as well bring you your Reishis Hagaz before we start the din Torah. Amar Leis, Rabbi Shmuel, the Dayan, tells him, guess what? Find yourself another judge. Pasilna l'chladina, I'm disqualified. Lo kibul minei, and he refused to accept, even though he disqualified himself, he did not accept his gesture. Instead, he appointed Dayanim, Oisiv le'zuga de Rabbanon, v'kodaini he put together a pair of Chachamim to conduct this fellow's din Torah. But once again, he was affected, he was influenced. But because of us, as he's walking back and forth, listening into the Torah with curiosity, Omar, he started thinking to himself, well, he should be saying this, he should be saying that. Iboy, if he wishes Toin Hachi, he should say this. Iboy, otherwise Toin Hachi, he should Taina otherwise. Omar, he said, look how profoundly affected we are. Teifach nafsham shemakabla sheichad. Those who accept sheichad, they should expire. Ma'ani shalonatalti. Look at what happened to me. I didn't even actually accept it. Vim notalti shalinatalti. Even if I would have, it was coming to me. I was a kohen deserving of the matnos kahuna. Kach, look how profoundly affected I already was. Mekabel sheichad al chaskam. Certainly, those who actually accept bribery, how they were affected, they were impaired, they were influenced. And look how a person must be careful. Here comes another story. Rav Onan. This fellow comes along and brings him kanta, a bucket full, the gildanid begili, small mini fish. Amarle mavaticha. He asks him, "What's your business here?" Mavaticha amarle dina isli. Look, maybe avaticha means what do I do for you? Like, why are you paying me this? Okay, in any case, amarle dina isli. Look, I'm actually in need of your services. The din Torah. Please. We'll sit down soon, right? Like he says, I'm not accepting this gift. I can't do a din for you. Actually, fine. I'll forego the opportunity to have you serve me as a judge, but at least accept my gesture. Why? You're a Talmud Chacham. I want to give you a gift. It's a schus for me to support you, to support Torah. Please don't hold me back from offering you bikurim, a very unique way of describing a gift. The Sani, we find that offering a Talmud Chacham a financial gesture is actually tantamount to the korban bikurim in the Beis Hamikdash. Today we don't have bikurim. This is equal to bikurim. In fact, the Mesilas Yesharim explains. Today, instead of a mizbeach, instead of karbonis, when we support a Talmud Chacham, it's like a carbon, it's like nesachim, it's like bikurim. How do we know this? This is Sanya. It's a pasuk in Melachim. V'ishbo mi Baal Shalisha. This fellow arrives from Baal Shalisha. V'yav Elisha Elikim. He brings Elisha, who was a godly person, a navi, lechem, bikurim, esrim, lechem, so'erim, bekarmel, betziklenu, all these foodstuffs. Now, why does the pasuk describe it as bikurim? Elisha echel bikurim hava. Since when was Elisha taking bikurim? It wasn't even in the Beis Hamikdash, and Elisha wasn't the kohen. That's Rashi's pshat. It says it wasn't in the Beis Hamikdash. So why call it bikurim? Elalem lacha teaches you a profound lesson. Call maybe during Talmud Chacham, a person who offers a gift to Talmud Chacham, ki'ilu makar bikurim, he elevates himself in the process. It's as though he brought bikurim. Amar lei. So Rav Anan says, look, I'm sorry. He says, look, actually, I was not planning on taking it, but now that you explained yourself, that you see it as a schos, I'm not going to refuse to offer mekabilna. I will indeed accept it, but I will not offer my din Torah services to you. I can't act as a judge. Fine. Shadra l'kamed Rav Nachman. He sent him to the next dayan to Rav Nachman. Shalach lei, and he sent him, like a note. Nidaini mar l'hagaver, please, Rav Nachman, get involved, judge this fellow's, case. Dana anon, because myself, anon pasilna l'din, I'm disqualified from getting involved in his din. Omar, so Rav Nachman figured, the fact that Anan sent me this type of request, Shema mino krevi, who apparently Rav Anan, is a relative of this fellow. And sure, I'll take up the case. He didn't realize it was due to the sort of payoff, the gift that he took. He assumed that this fellow was Rav Nachman's relative, and therefore he was pasal l'din. Havakoim dina diasme kamei. So the fact is, at that very moment, there was a din Torah involving Yisayimim, something that involved orphans, was next in line, was up in line, presented to Rav Nachman. Omar, but he figured, look, I have a dilemma. I have two cases that I can get involved in right now. Which one takes priority? Hai asay, getting involved in a regular din Torah with Yisayimim is a mitzvah asay. Rashi says on top, mitzvah hadayonim asay b'shvatim tzedek. It's a big mitzvah. But on the other hand, v'hai asay, I have the din Torah, which he thought was coming from a relative of Rav Anan. So that's cover that Torah, to give that priority in honor of Anan, the relative. Asay the kavod Torah adif. The asay involving honor of Talmud Chacham, of Torah, goes first, and therefore that will go first. Salki l'dina diasmi, so he put aside the other din of the Yisayimim, but achsi l'dina, and he put forth the din involving Rav Anan's alleged relative. Kivan the chazav baldina yikra the ka'avad lei. Once the litigant, the opposing party, saw the great honor that Rav Nachman was according to his litigant, to this fellow who was the alleged relative of Rav Anan, is tatim tanasei. Suddenly he was blocked. He had a mental block. He couldn't present any claims. He was so intimidated, and he just sort of shut down. Okay, so back to the beginning. We had the Mishnah, Shnei Dayanim Gzeiros. The Gemara tells us they were ones who applied penalties for those who misbehaved, who were negligent with each other's properties. We have two in the Mishnah. We have another one in the Brisa, and yet a fourth one. We had many Dayanim in Yerushalayim, but only certain specific Dayanim specialized in this talent. Okay, we learned that the Dayanim would accept payment from the public funds, and this is fully in line with the next Gemara, that even a Dayan can accept schar batala when this is his job. This is a compensation for lost time, for lost income. In fact, Tosfos brings that the same applied to malamdei halacha shchita, those Talmidei Chachamim who would give the shiurim in Yerushalayim. They all got their schar from Trumas Alishka, even though typically you don't get paid for teaching Torah, but schar batala was mutar. A dayan should not accept a bribe, certainly not from one party, even both parties. And even if it's payment for services, but schar batala is mutar, especially when it's something which is clear and transparent. This fellow is losing income. In that case, it's l'chatchila to give him schar batala, as per the story with Karna, who took payment for his services. We learned about the pitfalls of sheikhad, even not monetary sheikhad, even sheikhad dvarim, such as this fellow who offered his hand, helping Shmuel cross the river. And we learned about the subtle effects of being paid off, even being offered a payoff, as many stories that we had in the Gemara, concluding with the story of Rav Nachman, who took on the din of the fellow who Rav Anan refused to get involved with because he offered him his basket of fish in his own version of Bikurim. All the best to you and much hatzlacha.